Well, hey, welcome to another edition of Marriage Mondays. I'm so happy you're joining us. My name is Brandon Garland.
And my name's Maya Garland.
And we're excited that you are back. This means that either this is your first time joining us, so welcome. If you've watched the other Marriage Mondays, it must mean that you got something out of it enough that you said, hey, I'm going to take another second and tune in. And I really think you are going to be richly rewarded and blessed because we have the opportunity today. We are honored and privileged to be joined by Jonathan Traylor and Ryan Traylor. Thank you guys for being here.
Come on, man. Thank y'all for having us, for real.
We're so pumped. I'm excited to learn from y'all as us. We married a year and a half, and so we're just happy to have a conversation with people who've been married. How long have you guys been married?
5 years.
5 years. So you've got like 3 times the experience of us.
Man.
A little over 3 times if I'm doing my math right. So we're believing for 3 times more wisdom by the end of this conversation.
Man. We're learning.
No pressure.
No pressure.
So tell us this. How did you guys meet? And then will you just walk us through like when you met to standing on the altar saying I do?
Yeah.
Man, I will start it off because it's different.
Okay.
It's got to answer this different.
Right.
Okay.
We're ready.
I'm excited.
So we found out later, like probably a year into our marriage, that we went to a lot of the same schools, like elementary, you know, and what's the other school? We went to Red Oak High School.
The same high schools.
Yeah.
2 of the same high schools.
2 of the same high schools.
So y'all moved high schools and you happen to be at the same one?
Yeah. So,
Same elementary.
That's wild.
same yearbook, everything. So we never knew each other, you know. So I remember seeing her. She would walk through the hallways. I mean, books close to the chest, walking extra fast.
Word.
She was straight nerd, dweeb. You know,
like
I
this.
love it. I love it. Cute nerd. I love it.
Okay.
But never talked to her. And I remember her brother played basketball, so I was he was on varsity, right? So I think it's my freshman, sophomore year, I forgot. But we never talked to each other. So after high school, I graduated. What was it? 08. Graduated 08. Took a job. So I was selling appliances and electronics and all this good stuff. I'm not supposed to have my laptop on the floor. You're not supposed to do that. But manager wasn't in this day. I'm like, yo, we about to rebel, fam. We about to go hard.
Bringing the laptop out.
Bringing the laptop. So Facebook, you know, was like popping, and you know, this is a time where Facebook will recommend like you should be this person's friend. So I saw her profile picture, bro, and I was like, yes, sir. Lip gloss was popping.
Add friend
I was
right
like,
there.
I was like, that's oh girl, that's her from school, you know. And I remember like added her as a friend, slid into those DMs quick, bro.
Okay.
Got you. Got you.
Hey, what's up? You look so beautiful. Da, da, da. Oh my goodness. You remember me? I played basketball. I danced. I sang the choir. Da, da, da.
Listing the accomplishments.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I'm trying to get
Resume.
in. I'm trying to get in with like talent and you remember me from this and that? She was like, actually, I don't. I was like, you know what? That's a word for you, fam. You can't always get in with just talent, fam.
Come
It's
on,
the hardest
girl.
character.
Okay.
But she was like, no,
Okay.
I don't remember that. So that hurt. But you can pick it up from there.
But
Go
wait,
ahead.
can I ask this question? Was that legitimate, or were you like, I'm not going to give this man the time of day with this introduction of all his life's accomplishments?
Keep it real.
No,
Keep it real.
I didn't remember him.
Okay.
But to be fair, he graduated in 08.
Okay.
I graduated in 07. This was now 2012.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't actually graduate from the same high schools either. So we kind of came in and out of each other's lives. I didn't remember him. And I was like the astute student. I wasn't into the pep rallies. I didn't go to the games.
Okay.
And everywhere where he was performing, I wasn't at the shows. So I didn't remember. However, I Facebook stalked him because I'm a professional.
Yeah.
And he made a post about going to Panda Express. And he made a comment about how the person at the drive-thru didn't give him all of his change. And I think it was 5 cents short. And he went on
it was a penny. It was a penny.
1 penny?
he went on a rant about it, about how this person didn't know what he was going to do with his change. He could be saving up for this or that or the other.
It was an audacity, fam. If I have change and it's a penny, give me my change. Or at least ask me if I want my change.
There
But
we
they
go.
just took it and put it. I was like, okay.
Here's the thing. I thought this was a colossal joke. I was like, this guy is hilarious. He loves dry humor just like me.
Yep.
I found out later that he was very serious.
That's what I said. It's the principle. It's the principle.
True.
Okay,
But that status is what made me say, okay, let me at least talk to him.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that's how it went. So we started dating in 2012. He and I were both kind of playing games, weren't sure if we were actually serious. Broke up along the way, got back together, got engaged, broke that off.
Really?
And then he and I ended up back together and then down
But she
the
got
aisle.
engaged. It wasn't engaged to me.
Oh, I was just saying,
okay.
whoa!
Yeah.
Was
yeah.
engaged to someone else,
Yeah.
called him because he
Wow.
was still my best friend.
Yeah.
And after that, I think he realized
This is getting juicy, fam.
Yeah, this is, who knew?
We're getting all the tea.
Who knew?
he just realized, I can't let her
Can't let it go.
get married to somebody else. But broke off that engagement, and maybe 2 years later,
Yeah.
we were down the aisle. We got
Wow.
married in 2006.
Yeah.
Dang.
Wow. So you
16,
mentioned.
16.
16, sorry, 2016.
Okay,
I was gonna say, well, you graduated in
Yeah.
07.
I know math.
Got
We
married.
all did all this engagement
Quick
stuff.
math.
16, right.
Fine.
16, yeah, 2016.
Juicy.
So you had mentioned sort of the history of your guys' dating, of getting together, breaking up. There's a few different stories there. So for the person listening who maybe they're not married yet, maybe they want to be, or they're just looking, or they're dating, or whatever, what would you say are really important things to look for? And then maybe what are some red flags to try to avoid or to be aware of if they come up?
Go for it.
So for me, the red flag for the person that I was dating, and I mean, we were close enough that we were going to get married, you know, we were engaged. But when I started to see his heart and it not really turning towards God,
Wow.
that was what got me.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for someone that I could go to heaven with, not because of and not in spite of. And when I looked at him in our relationship and I looked at him as a leader in the future, I was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to be working hard
Wow.
against a current to make it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It is.
huge. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With me, peace. I was in a relationship, and it was so toxic. Oh my goodness. I was like, yo, am I going crazy? I don't argue. I don't even like to argue, you know. And that was big for me. I didn't like that stuff. So that was a huge red flag, and we almost got married because we started doing marriage counseling. Didn't get to the point to where I asked her to marry me, but it was like, yo, I want to be. We were together for 3 years, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, and that was, oh my goodness, yeah. So it just messed me up in my mind.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I don't want to be in a lifelong relationship, marriage
Yeah.
with someone that's gonna mess with my peace, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
That wasn't cool. So yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give us, maybe for someone listening, and this is a question to both of you, even though Jonathan, you brought it up, what does that, like, practically speaking, maybe what gave you peace about being in a relationship with Ryan, or vice versa? Kind of contrast that. Like, you mentioned like fighting a lot, apparently, about some
Yeah,
stuff that wasn't
arguing
even
small, petty
okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something that she did that helped me.
Okay.
So when I would get angry sometimes or frustrated, I would just like shut down and go. And then for that person, they'd be like, oh, he shut down. Let me go try to pry and fix something. And that's what would bring stuff out, you know. She would force me to communicate my feelings.
Interesting.
You know, don't shut down and walk away.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it right now.
Yeah.
You know, because if you walk away, the enemy's going to continue to paralyze on top of whatever you're dealing with,
Wow.
and it's just going to shake up some
Yeah.
stuff. And then you're not just mad at me or frustrated with me. You're mad at other situations that happened before, and
Right.
everything's
Wow.
piled together. And when I bring it back to you, it's just this big bomb. You know.
Yeah.
So she forced me to communicate in that moment. Let's talk about it. And then there were times when she let me go away. And she waited, prayed, processed, you know, and we were able to come together and talk. You know, it wasn't arguing and then we forget what we were arguing about. Where now it's like, yo, this is what triggered it.
Sure.
And it helped us out long term.
So conflict is going to happen
Yeah,
Yeah.
with
definitely.
anybody.
Yeah.
Maybe so one thing that you can look for if you're dating somebody whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
is the conflict healthy? Does
Right.
it lead you both to a place of deeper intimacy
Yeah.
with each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or does it lead you to be processing emotions and expressing them in ways that are totally unnatural? You feel worse.
Yeah.
Because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, what we're not saying is find someone you're not going to fight with. I
Right.
would argue you don't fight sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you even care about the relationship?
Yeah,
Right.
But it's
yeah.
how do you do it? Do you let the other
Right.
person have the space they need, but also to
Yeah.
try to draw out of them how they're feeling, not out of a place of trying to catch them in something, but
Yeah.
so they can
Right.
express themselves.
Right.
I love
Yeah,
that.
and I just want to expand a little deeper. You were sort of mentioning about how Ryan brought that good out in you when there's been other situations and relationships that have just not done the opposite
Yeah,
of that,
yeah,
brought
yeah.
kind of like your worst self out. And so I just want to talk for a moment. We know it says in the Bible that iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And so like what are maybe some other ways that each other, like you've been sharpened by each other in your marriage?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'll let you go. Go, yeah.
Oh gosh. So one thing that Jonathan does for me is he helps me to be sure. Because when he needs me to be the one to say, okay, left or right, I need to not second guess myself over and over again. And so typically I'll know an answer
Yeah.
and I'm just not confident enough to say it out loud. And so he has given me a lot of confidence to just be who I am
Go for it, yeah.
and go for it and
Awesome.
just say the answer. And so
Wow.
I appreciate that.
That's huge.
yeah.
That's huge.
that is.
Yeah.
Vice versa, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Wow.
Same thing,
Yeah.
So finding
Beautiful.
somebody who, another, I guess, thing for if you're watching and not married, or in your marriage and you're
Yeah.
watching,
Yeah.
how can you find ways to really give your spouse or find a significant other that does this for you, who really helps give you clarity in what
Yeah.
God's called you to do? Maybe in some, I would imagine some of that stuff is big things, big
Yeah.
life decisions.
Yeah.
Do we move
Right.
here? Do we take this job? Do we do?
Yeah.
Or probably there's also some examples of some smaller stuff. But find
Yeah.
someone who helps build your, not confidence in a self-centered way,
Yeah.
but like walk in this thing, like
Yeah.
do this. I believe in you. I think a lot of people are in relationships sometimes that's not the case.
Yeah.
But I love that seems to be the case for you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And someone you can fail in front of.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was-
Without,
that was- yeah.
and it's okay because they're right there with you.
Yeah.
You know, and they're
Yeah.
not gonna treat you any differently because you made a wrong decision or you
Yeah.
failed at something you tried. It wasn't it. You know,
Right.
nope.
Yeah.
But they're still there and
Wow.
they're still cheering you on.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing with our marriage. It's like she knows me outside of the worship leader. She knows me beyond the keyboard and guitar
Yeah.
and the smiling in front of folks. I've been frustrated before. I've been, angry with certain things. And it's cool to be able to have a wife that knows me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like that's dope to me, fam.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that like she knows me enough to know like what to pray for.
Wow.
And what to cover. And
Good.
and even for me, the only way I was able to do that for her is like I had to find out the character of Jesus. I had to get in the Word of God
Yeah.
and find out how He moved. How did
Yeah.
He speak to people? How did He love? And that's how I was able to, that's how I'm able to love my wife. you know?
Wow.
So,
I love what you're
Really
doing too.
good.
I want people to make sure they hear this. Finding that person who cares not just about what you do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what you contribute, what you bring, but you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we
Yeah.
had a conversation a couple nights ago, and when you said this, I cried because it really hit my heart. And Maya said, "You're my favorite preacher, but preaching is my least favorite thing about you." And that so hit my heart. And I just think for anybody,
That's good,
whatever
man.
your gift
Yeah.
is, whatever you love doing, find somebody who, I would say to your point, like God, appreciates and
Yes.
loves you.
Yeah.
Not that he doesn't love or your spouse doesn't love the
Right.
gift that you bring on a stage, but at the end of the day, someone who loves the person that you actually are,
Yeah.
not just with the lights and all that stuff on you. And if your gift isn't on stage with lights on you, the point is, it's such a freeing feeling to know that
Yes.
you're loved not for what you do.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
glad that you hit on that. I
Yeah.
think that's huge.
I know. I just because I really didn't understand what it meant when God says, "I delight in you."
Yeah.
Yeah, until like me walking into the room and just watching her sleep.
Creepy.
I know it's creepy. It is so creepy. But like, I'm like, God, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
grateful. And she's not doing anything. She doesn't have to do anything to impress me.
Wow.
Yes.
I love you. Same thing with my kids. I go in the room and yes, I'm a creep. I love my kids. You know, I love my kids. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
But they'll just laying down, asleep, snoring like little panda bears. And they don't have to impress. I just love them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's really cool to be in a marriage where I know, again, beyond anything I can do for, like, she just loves me. She loves me. She knows me and she loves me. And that's amazing.
But isn't that like the scariest thing
Oh,
ever?
yeah.
Goodness.
Oh, yeah.
To not know the ingredients to make somebody love you and continue to love you.
Yeah.
It's such a fearful position to
Yeah.
be in. And the beauty of trusting within a marriage and finding a person that will display the love of Christ is that he really just wants to sit with you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, you don't have to perform. You don't have to do anything. Have you ever been sitting in the car with somebody that you really don't have a relationship with, and the whole time you're thinking, okay, what do we talk
What
about
am I saying
next?
next?
Yes.
What do I talk about
Yeah.
next? Oh, this is awkward silence, awkward silence.
Yeah.
And Christ is just like, I just want to ride with you.
Yeah.
Come on.
If you have something to say to me, great. But if not, this is
Yeah.
enough.
This is
And
cool,
there are
yeah.
some times where I look at Jonathan and I'm like, what does he love? Like, what
Yeah.
is he like? What does he love? And not in a place of, oh, he hasn't affirmed me in a while. I don't know what he sees when he looks at me. But just in a, wow, you know me and you are still here. I
Yeah.
went to bed, I woke up, you're still laying next to me. You are rocking with me like that?
Yeah.
You kissed me before I brushed my teeth?
Oh, that's real love right there.
What's crazy to me? And that kind of just goes back to the mindset before we even got married of saying, okay, when I'm dating, when I'm looking for,
Yeah.
hoping for my spouse, I'm not thinking, am I the right person for them?
Yeah.
Because if you keep concentrating, fixating on that, am I the right person? Am I the right person? You'll find yourself altering yourself to
Right.
be that right person.
Right.
Because if I find out that I'm not the right person, then there's something wrong with me. But if I look and I just say, hey, if I'm not right, then I'm not right. But because I care about him, let me learn so much about him that if I realize that I'm not the wife for him, I will lovingly say, this isn't it.
Right.
That's huge.
Because I care.
Yeah.
And I hope that he will observe me enough to say, I'm not the right husband for Ryan.
Yeah.
And we can have that mature conversation and move on. And I spent so much of my dating just trying to be,
Yes.
just trying to figure out, what does he need? What does he want? I can be that. I can do
Yeah.
that.
Man.
Because
Yeah.
if we break up, then I wasn't enough.
Right.
Wow.
And that's not true. Because if you marry this guy because you did a great job spending a year being his person,
Yeah.
guess what? You've signed up to spend the rest of your life not able to be you.
Right.
Jeez.
And that is prison.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And I think that's really important for maybe there's people watching that are not married, want to get married. Especially I think there's this weird thing in the church where it's like, if you're a young adult and you're not married, like something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
But like that is just
Yeah.
not true at all. So I think that's really important to keep in mind. Like you don't have to be this chameleon
Yeah.
Yeah.
trying to like change your
Yeah.
colors and figure out like where do I fit? Like
Yeah.
how can I fit here and be this person, be that person?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we were just talking about this. That's your life. That's your whole life. That's the rest of your life.
Yes.
And what you attract a person with is what you're going to have to keep them with. And why
Yeah.
you have to be worried about trying to keep a person and trying to hold on. Like, you don't want to convince someone to want to be
Yes.
with you
Yeah.
or to be married to you.
Yes.
So I think that is so
just be.
important.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
this has become my personal favorite question, I think, because it just gets some great gold out of people.
Yeah.
So we're excited to hear what you guys have to say. If you could if your marriage was on a Mac and you could hit the file export button on one practice that you guys
Yeah.
do, maybe a lesson that you've learned, like what's the marriage hack you wish you could export to anybody who is married and is watching or isn't married yet, but maybe they can keep this in mind and file it away when they are. Like,
Yeah.
give us that. You can go individually or if you have one collectively, like this is our thing.
Yeah.
We'd just love to hear that wisdom.
Yeah, for me, always serve
Yeah.
and always stay a student. I'm always I'm a student of my wife. I'm always trying to learn from like what is she like? I know my wife is not some women like flowers. That's cool, but my wife is not a flower person like that. She when I do it, she loves it, but like she loves experiences.
Yeah.
You know, so let's go out and try something different. A restaurant we've never been to.
Yeah.
Let's go to this cabin away, far away, and just laugh and dance to I don't even like. Sorry, Taylor Swift, but she like dancing Taylor Swift.
If you're
and stuff.
watching,
If
so
you're
sorry.
watching, so sorry. Didn't mean but more than that, yeah, serving well. You know, I didn't understand that probably 3 years ago. You know, marriage, life, as a believer, everything is about serving.
Come on.
You know, my wife, I know she's with the girls all day. She's with the babies all day. So when we put the girls down, I'm going to massage your feet. Let's massage your feet, you know, because she's been on the feet. She's been going hard. Let me take the girls. You go chill. Let me go ahead and plan you a staycation. I'm going to take the girls 3 days. You go away in a hotel and don't even worry about us.
Wow.
You know, but just serving her well, you know.
Yeah.
So that's
Beautiful.
That's been my thing. So yeah, when you get a marriage, it's about serving.
Come on.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's good. Gosh, how do you top that?
That is good.
Top it. There's a song by Lupe Fiasco and
Let's go.
Skylar. I don't remember. It's called Words I Never Said.
Uh-huh.
And the chorus says, "It's so loud inside my head with words that I should have said." And so often we just have thoughts or unctions that just sit there.
Yeah.
Or we say, you know, if he comes back in here, then I'll. Or if he
Yeah.
sits down next to me, then I'll rub his leg, or I'll
Yeah.
rub his shoulders, or I'll tell him he looks good. If he asks me, I'll tell him he looks nice.
Yeah.
And instead of just letting all those things pile up, say it.
Yeah.
You know, just, I mean, that's a simple thing, right? But very hard because we naturally protect ourselves.
Yeah.
So if he hasn't said any compliments to me in a week and I'm feeling low,
Yeah.
I'm not going to compliment him
Wow.
Right.
because I'm saving all of this. Because what does it say about me if he's the only one that looks good? So I'm storing
Yeah.
this. He hasn't kissed me in a day. Now I'm not going to kiss him? No. Whatever you're feeling, don't let it
Come on.
pile up. Do exactly what you want to do,
Yeah.
exactly what you feel, and don't spend the entire marriage protecting yourself.
Wow.
Fall.
Wow.
Fall, because you can't be caught unless you fall.
Whew.
And that reminds me, I think something that I have a tendency to do that's not healthy is whenever, like, if we're in a conflict, one, I tend to, I want to, like, run away. I'm like, oh gosh, let's run, let's not do this. But also, like, if I have that moment in my head that's like, just say, I forgive you and move on.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I'll try to fight that and be like, no, but, like, this is my position. This is my, like,
And I'm looking,
this is my
Yeah.
thing. Like, we're like opposites. Like, let's go.
I know exactly.
But that is so important. Of like, actually, it doesn't have to be like this right now. We don't have to be how we are right now. Let's just let's fall. Let's surrender. Let's just give in to
good,
each other.
yeah.
And then something that we have started doing, that actually Pastor Jason, I think, told you this.
This is clutch.
That is so helpful. Just like you were saying about those unspoken things that you just kind of keep inside. We have started, because of Pastor Jason said this to us, of doing like unspoken things. So basically, like every Monday night, if there's something that's just in our heads, that could be maybe something we didn't like that happened, maybe something that is really great we just didn't say. Like, hey, I really appreciated when you did this last week.
Yeah.
Or like,
That's dope.
you look really attractive when you were doing this last week. Or like,
Yeah.
hey, I actually needed a little bit of help, like understanding like the motive behind this. Like just things that have been inside our heads, just to get them all out.
Yes.
Great.
Because that's how
Good.
bitterness and resentment
Yes.
build up. So just like saying it, I think is really important.
Yeah. So plan A is say it in the moment.
Yeah.
If for some reason you fight the thing you know you should do, which is compliment, encourage, initiate with your spouse, like is going to be best for your marriage. If you don't do it, maybe bring it back around.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
bring it back,
we've tried to do it once a week, and it does make a difference to have those things come out.
Yeah.
And what I love about that being y'all's last point is think about this. We started talking about healthy conflict.
Yeah.
Isn't it true that healthy conflict actually only happens when you both have a posture of serving
Yes.
Yes.
and you're willing to say I'm sorry, or you're right, like I really am acting like this. The thing you know you should say and initiate, if you're actually willing to do that in the conversation and come with that servant-hearted posture.
Yeah.
To me, it's interesting that y'all's marriage hacks almost are the formula to having conflict that actually ends healthy,
Yeah.
as opposed to
Yeah.
just
That's good,
fighting,
Yeah.
or burying everything up under the
Yes.
rug.
Yeah.
I think that's really kind of a
right,
beautiful way to
Yeah.
tie the whole episode together.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
we love it. Thank you guys for
Yes. No,
making
thank you.
time.
For sure.
So helpful.
This has been beautiful.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it.
Want to thank you, whoever you are, all of you, for watching. If you're watching on the Forest Hill app, we're going to keep releasing these every Monday of our relationship series. So tune back in next Monday for another episode of Marriage Mondays.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, follow, subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell. You don't want to miss other videos.
Yeah.
Maybe comment something under this video, something that really stuck out to you, for maybe something that Jonathan or Ryan said.
Yeah.
Share this video. If something
Yes.
stuck out, you're like, man, I really thought this was so powerful. Send it to somebody. Maybe don't, I said this in a different video, maybe don't send this to your spouse if you're like in the
Middle
middle
of
of a conflict and one of the points is about that.
Yeah.
That will not bless your marriage. But
Not.
share this with somebody. I think it's really, really helpful. And we can't wait to see you back in the rest
Yes.
of our relationship series at Church Online 9 and 11. We have 6 campuses. We'd love to see you at
Yeah.
one. These 2 hang out at the Eastland campus.
Yeah.
But we can't show partiality. So one of 6 campuses.
One of 6.
Pull
Yeah,
up to
yeah.
any of them.
Any of them.
Come on.
And tune back in next week for another Marriage Monday. We love you.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
We'll see you next week.